The Z Fold 6 is certainly Samsung's most polished, refined hardware for a foldable to date. But have they done enough? Let's find out in our full review of the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You are here with Daniel. The Z Fold 6 is a conundrum. It has the benefits of being the best foldable hardware that is available on a global scale, as in available in every single country, readily on the shelves in pretty much every retailer. But also, it's potentially not enough, according to the internet. And we know that's the best source of news. The thing is, people making that claim are the ones who have actually never really dailied this on a full-time scale for as long as I have in particular. I've had every single fold since the original and used it extensively as part of my daily use. Design-wise, Samsung, whilst it looks very similar to a Fold 5, have actually made a lot of strides forward in the practicality of a foldable. The thing for me that has been a big advantage over this fold versus the other folds Samsung have made is they've managed to maintain very comfortable one-handed use experience on the front without really having to make it any wider. It is 1mm wider, gone from 67.1 to 68.1. But the more usable surface area of the now 6.3-inch cover screen means that you're actually getting much more phone for not much more phone, if that makes sense. The design of the flatter sides as well, I think, have lent into that. If you have the sort of more curved frame, it does maybe feel like you're holding a bit of a wider phone, but not by much. I don't think it's really that big of a difference to really call that out to an extreme level. It's just worth noting. The flat sides, I've noticed, are a little bit sharper. Not so much on the sides, more just sort of in the corners, but it's not uncomfortable. We have these big, thick parts of our hands. That's pretty much where a lot of the fold rests. And it's not really touching bone or anything uncomfortable, so it's not that big of a deal. The fold is comfortable, easy to hold for long periods, and a lot of that is down to the fact it's been made lighter this year as well. It is only 5 grams heavier than this S24 Ultra. So when you really think about it, you're getting a lot more phone, but not a lot more phone. And that's what I meant. The thing for me is a lot of people like to talk about the design in the metrics of a normal smartphone, where it's meant to operate and function design-wise in the same way a flat smartphone that doesn't fold would do. And I don't think that's a fair comparison or a fair way to review it, because the Fold 6, in how it works, you've got 2 screens and 2 designs. You've got the front, which is an incredibly powerful, incredibly comfortable one-handed smartphone, which when you need it to can get you out of a jam with quick smartphone interactions. And when you need a tablet, you unfold it incredibly fast and you're put onto this massive 6.6-inch display, which caters for all of your multitasking, productivity, and entertainment functions. Samsung have also really well made this thing. It's not just about the flat sides, it's about the hinge being strong. The hinge is incredibly durable and incredibly seamless to open and close. And I don't know what it is, but there's been this incredibly satisfying clasp close. Have a listen. I'll go again. A lot of that other people have pointed out is there's no bumpers on the frame anymore. So Samsung have removed the bumpers and it basically just folds completely flat in on itself. So I think that makes a difference and gives it that more satisfying sound. As far as the displays are concerned, Samsung have basically just matched the quality of the S24 series. 2600 nits brightness in peak sunlight conditions means that you are getting great colors, vibrant colors in any sort of lighting condition you could want. So I'm not too worried when people say it needs to be the same as the S24 Ultra. I think the only thing that's probably missing that I would have liked to see is the anti-reflective coating on the front display. Other than that, the design is a winner. Samsung don't have to do too much more with the foldable. You know, you can see the direction they're heading, thinner and lighter, but they're taking it in steps that mean you're getting a greater experience each year. And I like that. Now, talking about the cameras, I think the thing is a lot of people look at cameras on a foldable and they want it to just be the same experience from an output wise as what you get on the S24 series. I get it. I truly do. I am in that camp of wanting the ultra flagship cameras on the Fold series. But I think what a lot of people don't tend to review, and where this review is going to focus on, is the flexibility. Pun absolutely intended. The Z Fold 6 and the foldable series in general benefits from being a different way to capture stuff versus the output that it does get. With the S24 Ultra or with a slab smartphone, you really can only capture it in one way, which is point and shoot, and that's it. You're limited to that. Whereas with the Fold 6, you find yourself being more creative. Because of the way the hardware and the software sort of combines itself together, you can do more with it without needing to think about extra peripherals and accessories. Perfect example is on the back of my S24 Ultra, I have got this little magnetic tripod stand, which when I need to, I can unfold that and turn this into a tripod. Only thing is, it adds that extra bulk on the back whilst attached to a phone case. The Fold needs nothing. And because of the hinge being as strong as it is, and Samsung software being built around that as well, Flex Mode means that I just have to carry the phone and that's it. The Flex Mode software has been such a joy to use as well. Putting it down on a flat surface and watching the screen sort of divide into halves, controls down the bottom, preview up the top, is such a win. I feel so much more creative when I do it. Whether that be capturing stuff for YouTube, just in a pinch, putting the phone down and using it, or whether that be creating stuff with my family, putting the Fold down outside with my kids playing, inside with my kids playing, and just pressing record. You can then bend the top half of the screen any way you like to get that angle that you need. And with modes now like dual recording, which we've spoken about extensively, you can record from 2 cameras on the rear at the same time in that Flex Mode state. So you kind of almost are capturing like a movie with different scenes that you can cut between later on in editing. But it's not just even about that software. Samsung go even deeper with things like auto framing, where you can put it down outside, let the phone sort of follow you around. Now they do it in 4K as well, and you can start from 0.6, 1x, or 2x with auto framing leading into it. Or it's about the fact that you can use the cover screen as a preview. So not only can you use rear cam selfie mode, which allows you to have full operation of the camera from the cover screen with the rear cameras facing you, but if you're taking a photo of kids, and I love doing this as a parent, sometimes kids find it really hard to focus when you're taking photos, but if they can see themselves on the screen, they're more likely to sort of sit still, listen, and focus. Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
It has way more about it in allowing you to shoot different types of stuff that a normal phone just can't allow for. So when people review the camera, they talk about output, they talk about hardware. Oh, it doesn't have a 200 megapixel main camera. It doesn't have a 5x telephoto. Those are true. It doesn't have either of those things. But what it does have is the fact that you have a portable content machine that you can take with you anywhere. And no one really complained about the S24 cameras this year. In fact, a lot of them said they preferred the processing of the main camera on the S24 versus what the S24 Ultra was doing. So if a lot of people prefer that, and the Fold has that same sort of camera setup, then why isn't it that a lot of people aren't talking more about the other stuff the Fold could do? Thankfully I can, because I appreciate it. There's 2 cameras though on the Fold that a lot of people probably want me to discuss. The first is the front selfie cam, and yeah, it's not great. I would say this is very much in a pinch if you wanted to use a convenient selfie camera. Personally, I would probably just get rid of that on the front and just use the rear cam selfie, but I can understand that that maybe not be convenient. So at least it's in the least intrusive way possible. It's just a small punch hole. The other one's the under display camera. It's an interesting one because I've never felt the need to take a selfie with the inner display at all. So for people to say, oh, it needs to be a better camera, or the other side of the coin is get rid of it entirely, I disagree with both of those. This camera on the inside that's hidden under the display is great for what it's designed for, which is video calls. I wouldn't say it's like a perfect setup for business and productivity business calls, but for social media, for calling your family on Google Meet, it's amazing. Because of the fact you have Flex Mode and you can set this down on a table and talk to your family hands-free, fantastic. It's full HD, so it's got enough quality, and Samsung have built some really good software to clean it up whilst you're in video mode or in photo mode. I think it's perfect for what it's designed for. And I think a lot of people need to realize that that's what it's there for. Getting rid of it altogether means you're not really getting a great experience for video calls. So I'm glad it's still here. That takes me on to this last part of the review, the utility. A Fold is all about how you can do more with it and how you can enhance what you already could do before. For me, I'm a massive multitasker. I love opening multiple apps on a screen even if it's just 2 or 3. And the extra screen real estate on the inside display gives me way more room to do that. Samsung software also caters for that too. The taskbar was probably their best software introduction of any recent times into One UI. Having that little dock down the bottom with apps that you've put there on purpose and then apps that are recent means that you can easily and swiftly jump back and forth between apps that you're using. I love opening up pop-up windows, especially while watching YouTube, bringing in pop-ups of Twitter, bringing in pop-ups of Messenger apps. It means that my content's not really being distracted and I can easily do more on the big screen with replying to people, browsing social media, writing out notes for video ideas. All of that can be done quickly and with more room thanks to the taskbar's introduction. But it's even down to entertainment. Like, I know I mentioned that I watch YouTube, and what I really enjoy is Flex Mode. Because Samsung have built Flex Mode panel into apps that necessarily don't support Flex Mode natively, means that I don't have to stress about the media app that I'm watching, whether that be Twitter and I'm watching a video, or where it doesn't have integrated Flex Mode. I can activate it, and there's even a floating button now that can move around. The button was always there, it's just been the floating part. Or YouTube, which of course has built Flex Mode into their app to support it. Pop the phone down in that 90-degree angle and watch the software take over. It's truly magical. And I can't ever imagine a world where I'm not using a foldable because of that stuff. From a performance standpoint, I think the thing is that it's got pretty much everything. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy. It has all of the great cooling solutions that Samsung are continuing to innovate and upgrade with every phone launch. Whether that be because of the Snapdragon's extra heat, or whether that just be because Samsung like to keep their phones cooler, doesn't matter. We win. We win at the end of the day, and the performance wins. The battery, I think a lot of people call for bigger batteries to be made, and that's probably the one area where I could probably agree with them. 4,400 mAh battery could be stretched out, but I'm also aware of Samsung's caution. They've been down that road before where they have tried to cram bigger batteries in, and we all know what happened. I know it was a long time ago, but the Fold simply doesn't have the space to play with as what something like a Vivo Fold does. They make 8-inch inner screen. They've got a much bigger cover display, and that goes against Samsung's idea of foldable, which is to have it being easy to use one-handed on the front, and then you open it up to the tablet afterwards. Not give you the S24 Ultra on the front and then open up inside to a Tablet Line Ultra. I would like that, but I think Samsung is aware that that's not the general consensus for the majority of people. Majority of normal people. Us tech aficionados, we of course will welcome that with open arms. But we'll see. Samsung might split the range in two a little bit later on. But my battery performance usage, I'm not willing to judge it just on the capacity. I'm judging it on how the battery works with usage both open and closed. And for me, I've had next to no issues with battery. I've not felt anxiety. I've not felt concerned. I'm pretty much happy with where the battery is at as of now. But of course, that could change over time. Then I will be updating in further videos about the Fold as that time progresses. This was a bit of a different take on the Fold. Bit of a different review. It's not something that focuses very heavily on the spec of the phone or talking about the raw data of battery charging times or battery loop tests. This review is about how Fold in general, not just the Fold 6, can introduce a new way of doing things to your life. Hopefully you like the idea of that. If you do, SamMobile is the place you want to be. So hit subscribe and we'll see you in all of the next videos. See you next time. Thanks.